Hello, and welcome to a Thursday morning, a glorious winter's day. How are you going?
Adelaide on the show with no name. I'm Adair Palmer, and
I am Theone Rusianos.
the name badges give it away, doesn't it?
So we probably don't need. Well, we probably do need to tell each other our names because they want to know that they've pronounced it right.
And I'm the blonde one. So we're coming to you through My Time TV, and we are live streaming on My Time TV and syndicated out to over 50 channels of TV on demand through the Binge TV networks. And the show with no name was born over a year ago now of an idea that Theone and I had about helping charities, not-for-profits, service clubs, community fundraisers profile and get the good work that they're doing out in the community so that they can raise awareness of their brand, they can get sponsors and donors and volunteers and people to their events. And we love bringing you amazing people who are doing, and organisations who are doing so many fantastic things to help the community. So we're firmly seated in Adelaide, and we bring you mostly Adelaide people, but we do occasionally have some interstate and overseas superstars because we celebrate as much and not as often as we can. So Theone, who have we got today?
Before I introduce our amazing guest today, I just want to acknowledge, if you're here watching us, say hello and good morning, Roz. Thanks for joining us. I enjoyed watching you this morning as well. And Jezza, how you going? Good to see you here.
Jezza. I love seeing Jezza when she pops up as Jezza. Always makes me laugh. And can we just share a little story about Jezza? Because we, Theone, as a community fundraiser extraordinaire, had a Bogan Bingo night, hosted a Bogan Bingo night to raise funds for Kidney Transplant Diabetes Research Australia. And Jezza was that we had a lot of our community from Women in Business Adelaide come along, and Jezza was one of Jerry was one of them, and she came as the Bogan Jezza, and seriously, she was the star of the show. So
Jezza was quiet until I saw her that day.
We saw another side of you, Jenny, and we just love the Bogan Jezza, and we want to adopt that side of you as part of our persona.
Attend events, because when you meet people through business, you see one side of them. Not to say that they have a mask on or anything like that, but it's a little bit more of a professional interaction. When you go to an event, when it's raised, and this is exactly what Adair and I, the purpose of this show is when you find it, when someone's sharing a cause that's close to you, matters to you, or someone you know, it's the little things you can do to, one, raise awareness and spread the message, but you do get to know people on a different level. So grab a table of people people that you know in other circles and get to know them in other ways, because you won't regret it. Now,
once you go there, once you see, you can't unsee, and it's absolutely delightful because you really do get to know people on a very, very personal level, and it's so rewarding. It really is. Hello, Cheryl. How are you this morning?
Thanks for joining us, Cheryl. So today we've got the amazing Sarah Tapscott. I was going to say on the phone, not on the phone. Well, she is on the phone. So we've got Sarah.
101.
Sarah's an event creator, coordinator, and the founder of Pure Potential Events. Pure Potential Events is about connecting, inspiring people, and creating amazing moments that go way beyond the event. Sarah works with all different types of businesses, from small startups, government and associations, through to major expos, and her passion is to turn a concept of an event into reality and to create great experiences for everyone. Pure Potential Events also provide a platform for speakers who wish to share their message to the community through their Be Empowered community talks to charity events, and is all about bringing people together and making a difference. And they definitely do that. I know we've both had the pleasure of attending events Sarah has put together. Thank you for joining us, Sarah. It's a pleasure speaking with you today.
Oh, thank you, Adair. Thank you, Theoni, for having me here. Having sort of watched from the other side and now being this side, it's exciting. I'm a little nervous, but really honoured to be here on the show.
We'll be gentle.
Welcome, Sarah. We will. Well, I'm hanging around just to welcome you, and I will be playing in the background. I do have something else I need to go and do, but I really did want to jump in and be here for the introduction. What you're talking about is an incredibly important topic. I'm going to bug out now, and if I can pop back in the end, I will do that. But I'm going to leave you in Theoni's capable hands, and I'll see you in the comments.
All right, thanks, Dare. Bye.
Okay, so pardon?
Hi, lovely. Good to see you.
Yeah. So thanks again. Like I said, thanks for joining us. You do have an important message to share. Now, Are You OK Day is coming up. What's the actual date for Are You OK Day?
We're actually hosting on September the 10th. The actual Are You OK National Day is the 12th of September. We're hosted on the 10th because it's World Suicide Prevention Day. And what we wanted to do is have like a bit of a build up to Are You OK Day. And really, it's important that every day is okay to ask that. But I think this kind of brings quite an awareness to everybody as we have that build up to it. So we decided to do it on the World Suicide Prevention Day.
That's awesome. And exactly what you said, it shouldn't be limited to one day a year. That one day a year is about raising the awareness and getting the conversation happening.
Absolutely, yes.
Every day.
Yes, absolutely. And I think the purpose is, because a few people sort of said, what, is it so one day you just ask someone and that's it, then you kind of forget? We went, no, absolutely not. It's really about having an awareness. And as this day comes up, we're more aware, I think, of actually checking in with ourselves as well. And I think that's really important. That's something that we really wanted to make sure that we cover this year with our 4 speakers, is that we're able to check in. We've got to reach in first to reach out. If we're not well ourselves, it's really hard to actually speak up and ask somebody else. And sometimes that kind of helps in a way, because they might turn around and go, well, I'm fine, but how about you? It's about starting a conversation and being, there's no necessarily right or wrong way. It's just, if there's someone at work or someone in your family or someone, a friend that you've noticed there's a change in them, and you've been a little bit afraid to maybe ask, but, it doesn't hurt to ask. That person might say, no, look, I'm fine. And I was talking to someone the other day in the supermarket and I said, oh, how are you? And she says, oh, I'm okay. And she goes, you know what? I'm not, because I had an Are You OK badge on. And I just went, oh my God, how many times do we say, hey, I'm fine. But we're not. Why? It's okay to actually speak up and say, maybe I'm not having such a great day. We're all human.
Absolutely. Now, so we've got the event coming up on the 10th of September. This isn't the first event that you're putting on. How many?
Sorry, go on.
No, go ahead. This is the...
this is the second one. So this is the second time doing the Are You OK event.
And you've got, so just rewind a little bit earlier than preparing, getting ready for the first event. What you do have a bit of, usually when people are raising awareness for campaigns, they have a connection to that particular cause themselves. Can you share a little bit about why this cause for you?
Yeah, sure. And it's something that usually does come with a lot of emotion. So I do have tissues ready. So I think back in my teenage years, I think I was starting to go through depression, but I think I didn't tell my parents, and it was kind of like, oh, you're just a troubled teenager, that sort of thing. So when I got into my 20s and I hadn't really had the help and really wasn't aware of what was happening to me, and then I met Mike, my husband now, so we've been together for 27 years, and I think when he came into my life, I kind of realised that there was a part that there was something missing. No matter how much I had the love and the family and things, there was something missing inside, and I just couldn't put my finger on it. So when I had Katie when I was 30, then that sort of set off like a postnatal depression, but there was so much more to it, and it took a long time before they actually diagnosed it was bipolar. And it's something that you sort of see someone over a period of time, they start getting to know your patterns and what was happening and why the antidepressants weren't working for me. They were just making me feel worse. And I kind of got to the point, I think at about 32, Katie was 2 years old, and I just thought, I just don't want to be here. This is just too hard. And, you know, it actually feels, it feels like a lifetime ago because of, you know, I've changed so much. But it was, I kind of just went, I don't think I'm adding any value, and it would just be easier just to, you know, shut down, disappear. And then I kind of went, well, that's not fair. How could I leave behind my daughter and Mike? And I always thought Mike will cope without me, but it was Katie. How could I do that to her? And then I had another friend that ended their life, and I kind of just watched. Her daughter was 12, and I watched the impact, and I just went, oh my God, I've got to do something about this. So I started seeing a psychiatrist, and he was lovely, but I got to the point where I thought, you're actually so textbook. I just kept thinking there's so much more to this. I've got to go searching for something. I was going crazy in my head of like, oh my God, what's wrong with me? I'm a mum, I'm a wife, I've just got to get my act together. But the more I said that, and my parents would say to me lovingly enough, you just got to think positive. You just got to do this. And I went, oh my God, if it was as simple as that, do you think I would just do that? Of course I would do that. I want to be healthy and happy. So I started doing some meditation, and I went to some spiritual development classes, and that really changed my life. I remember rocking up one day there. A friend had given me a flyer saying, you've got to go see this lady. She runs meditation classes. It's amazing. And I'd packed my bags, and I thought I was just going to run away. I was either going to end my life that day or I was going to run away. And I just thought, I can't stand hurting my family or hurting myself. It just has to stop today. And going there, and the person that walked out, like, it wasn't just like, oh, that's it, she's fine, off she goes. But it changed something. It triggered something inside of me that went, oh my God, there's actually something else. I had hope. I suddenly had hope that there's meditation, there's something else, I can start getting some other help. I basically sacked my psychiatrist because he just wasn't really helping at all.
Well, different people and different services are going to be right for different people. It doesn't make that person bad at their job. It just means they're not the right person for you. And sometimes you can outgrow that particular thing and you need something more. Yes. I think lots of things can work in conjunction with to help you through. And I know, and I can say that from experience because I've been there myself.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and well put, and definitely that. And it wasn't that I'm saying, you know, don't have a psychiatrist or a counsellor because that, you know, it works for different people. And I went to a naturopath and I started doing some things different. I started eating different foods and things like that, and I started becoming more stable. I'm still on medication, which does, you know, through my GP, that does keep me at a fairly even level. That's not to say I don't have highs and lows. They're just not as dramatic. Mm-hmm. The lows certainly aren't. I get those highs, and I just sometimes need to check in with myself every now and then and just go, hey, are you on one of those, like, not getting much sleep, you know, take on a lot of things? But I know the signs enough that if it starts, my family, of course, know the signs enough, that if it starts creeping back in, they kind of go, hey, I think you need to just chill out for a bit. You know, have you been meditating? And I went, oh, no, I haven't had time. Okay. You know, it's just those little reminders for myself that also then help other people as well.
Yeah, and we've got messages of support here. So Jenny Shippen, our good old Jezza, says
hi, Jenny.
You're awesome and to support you because what you're doing is awesome. And she also says she's been there and understands completely what you're talking about. So it is, and it is about, so Are You Okay Day, it is about breaking down that stigma. It is a little bit, men and women I know as well are different. Women, where naturally we talk about our problems. It doesn't mean that they're not as severe, but there's still that stigma around men and mental health as well. Which I think is, you know, it is about getting the conversation going and, you know, asking the question and just checking in that I actually didn't know that about you. So we've known each other and seen each other around for quite a while, and I didn't know that. You know, I understand a little bit about bipolar. And yes, so Roz says the path can be difficult and finding the balance is tricky. And yeah, Cheryl had no idea. So it's not, people can either mask it, hide it, or they're working on themselves and they're overcoming it. But so you don't always know. So asking that question is so important, because they could be in a position where they are just masking it and need an outlet, and they don't have that support. Or it's not always that they don't have the support, it's that they feel they don't have that support, and that's just as valid.
Absolutely. And I did used to mask it, especially with my parents, because I thought, I've always looked up to my parents and they've been fantastic support, but they're the sort of people that I didn't see the contrast of life with them. They didn't show me those sort of things. And I think there must have been times when they had difficult times or money issues, but it's like they kind of kept my brother and myself sheltered from all of that. And that's fine in lots of ways. And they've been fantastic parents, but I didn't. So when I started going through things, I thought it's just me, and I didn't want to burden them with my problems, because I thought, they're always so stoic. My dad's always, an absolute perfectionist. He expects a lot from me. Mum's very loving and things like that. And it's like I felt like I'd be disappointing them to say it. Whereas I think with Katie, I've been really upfront and honest and say to her, look, this is what happened to me in the past. And there are still days that I think, I don't know, I just don't feel myself. And then, okay, they're the days I kind of lay low a little bit. And some people say to me that, I haven't seen you post much on Facebook or something. Well, they're probably the days where I'm just having some, internal days of just working on some stuff here. And I always used to put on a mask, and I don't necessarily I don't know if mask is the right word of what I do now. I think if I'm not feeling so good, I may not be out and about. You may not see me as much. But when I am out, I am myself. I think that's really important that I have to be. So there might be some days where I'll be out and really, having a great day. And then other days I'll be out and I'm just like, maybe a little bit more reserved and things. And, so it's not wearing a mask. It's just, I try and be myself without, coming out and saying to everyone, if someone asks me, oh, you okay today? Maybe not so, maybe not the best today. Tomorrow I'll be fine. And I think that's the difference.
And it's important to know that you can have that conversation without worrying about people are going to think I'm just whinging. People are just going to think that, that's not what it's about. If people are asking you, they genuinely care. And with the event itself, so we were talking before we started the show, and it is about, and it's not just about asking other people if they're okay. You need to put yourself first, because if you're not looking after yourself, you're no good to others.
Yeah,
Not
absolutely.
no good to them, but you can't help someone if you're not, if your cup's not full yourself. So I shared with you a little bit earlier, not to the same degree, so I don't have a diagnosis of depression or anything like that, but I did get to a point recently where I needed to reach out for help. And if I didn't, it was gonna go further south. And so I started seeing a counsellor and other kinds of healers as well, because, some people are into the spiritual stuff and some aren't, and that's okay. You'll find what works for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
For me, it was about all of it in conjunction with each other. I don't think it's any one thing. I think I needed a bit of this, a bit of counselling, a bit of the soul work, a bit of everything together. And that's what worked for me. And it's, and it comes down to, when it always brings me back to when you're on a plane, you take a flight and they go through the safety instructions. The first thing they tell you to do is to put your oxygen mask on before you help somebody else. And it's the same thing in everyday life.
Yeah, absolutely. So true. Last week, Katie was having one of those days where things just weren't going well for her. And she was just like, Mum, I'm just feeling terrible. So we got home, we had a cup of tea and things, and we had a chat. And the next day she sent me a text message at school saying, Mum, you're amazing. Thank you so much for it really shifted me, for your positive thoughts and everything. And then about 2 days later, I had a really flat day and I just thought I just had nothing to give. And she sensed that and she just said, Mum, do you want a cup of tea? Let's sit and chat. And I was just like, this is fantastic that there's some days when you've got a lot, in and you can really give to somebody, and then there's days when you don't, and it's really nice to have someone that comes in that can just recognise that and just say, hey, do you want to chat, and do you want a cup of tea? And it meant so much that, and I thought, so it's really important, one, stay healthy, but also just be really open and honest and be there for other people as well.
Yeah, and as Jenny says, it's important when you ask if someone's okay to listen with heart and not just
Yes. Oh, absolutely, Jenny. So
such a big difference.
So true, yes, because we always want to fix things, and I think, God love my husband. He's amazing. I wouldn't seriously be here without him, and he'll listen to this after. He was my saviour. He's been my biggest support. And he's one of these people that just looks at life very, very easygoing, and I seriously wouldn't have been here without him, but I've kind of forgot where I was going on a different tangent. But,
Doesn't matter.
he wanted, that's right, he wanted to be able to fix things back in the early days. I just want to fix it. What can I do? I go, I don't know. If I knew there was one thing to say, hey, can you just do this and this will fix me, I'd tell you, but I don't really know. I don't think it's that. I don't think you can fix me. I just need you to be there. And I think with Are You OK that's coming up with our speakers, and one thing I really, when I was thinking about who I wanted to come and be a part of this and represent this, is that I wanted them to obviously come from the heart, and they absolutely do. We've got Nicola Lipscombe, and she's very much all about heartfelt, being heart-centred, go within before you can go without sort of thing. And that, we need to be good of listening to people. You've got to ask, but people don't necessarily want to be, oh, well, you've got to do this and you've got to do this. And we sometimes have that habit of wanting to help so much, and that's important because we feel we want to do something. But we want to set up conversation corners, and we did this last year. We had professional listeners come in. We had about 5, I think, and the great thing about the venue is there's a lounge space outside of the actual breakfast area. And so we had different professional listeners set up on a table, and people could come and just sit and talk. Now, the listeners weren't there to offer advice. If the person, and there was a few that were really struggling, they were able to give them some contacts of people to go to get help. And of course, they are counsellors themselves. So if that person said, look, I'd love to come and chat to you on a professional basis, can we? Of course, that's the option, but they're professional listeners. And the feedback we got last year was amazing, that people went back to the workplace and they asked people, and they said, actually, I'm not on, the stories and the heartfelt, messages we got were amazing. It helped marriages. People realised they weren't listening to their husbands that were going through things. And I just thought that had such a huge impact. I love doing events, but these ones just mean so much because I love seeing how it helps other people.
Yeah.
And that's why I do this.
And you said about, people not listening to their husbands or their wives or whoever it is, and not really, but it's also about listening to yourself.
Yes, yeah.
We have this thing, this exterior, and it's not fake or anything like that, but we have this thing where, we want to please other people, and a lot of people are like this. You just want to please other people and you want to be there for other people, and that comes from a completely genuine space.
Yes,
yeah. You need to be there for yourself as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
And good morning, Glenn. Thank you for joining us. Now, we've got a couple of comments here. And Roz, yes. So Roz talking about finding what works for you. I'm pretty sure this is the way that you commented. So it's like a recipe sometimes, a bit of this and a bit of that, mix it all together and add to it. And then you get that awesome chocolate chip cookie in the end. So Adair says that she finds asking people if they are okay difficult because she doesn't know what to do if they say they're not. Any suggestions?
Okay. Yes. Yeah, very well put. And I think that's something that definitely our speakers will cover on the Are You OK Day, because that's really important too. And I think the Are You OK charity do offer some suggestions for people of how to ask. And I think one, yes, it's important that you stop and listen and you kind of find out. I mean, everyone's going to have some sort of different story. So if someone sort of says, look, I'm really thinking I don't want to be here, I want to end my life. Okay, then you kind of need to sort of step in and go, I need to sort of get some help to help this person because they may not be in that state of mind who's capable to ask. You kind of, I guess, do have to ask them permission. Look, I feel that I can't just leave you and say, that's fine, you know, I hope you'll be okay, because once you've asked, you kind of feel like there's a responsibility to act. And I think asking that person's permission, saying, look, there are things we can do. Can we do this together? Can we help? And can I help you get some help? You know, and I think so, you know, everywhere from Lifeline, maybe someone in their family that they haven't been able to talk to, reaching out to, are you okay, ambassadors also, and that person might know a counsellor or someone that they can ask. In the supermarket that day, the lady asked me, do I know of anyone that she could talk to? And I said, yes, I do actually. You know, look, here's a few people that I can think of, and gave them, and then sort of left it to her, because she is someone I don't know. It was just a fleeting comment. She saw my badge, commented back, but if it was someone I knew personally, I'd be saying, hey, let's do something. Let's go chat to a counsellor. Let's go see someone. I'll come with you. So that is the hard thing. You know, what do you actually do?
And there are services out there. So contact, definitely, if you are struggling and you need some help, visit the Are You OK website, Facebook page, get in contact with them. They've got resources. Also contact Lifeline. So Lifeline, their number is 13 11 14. They've also got a text service. Sometimes people can't physically bring themselves to speak the words. And especially in today's generation, in the digital age, I think text is a lot easier for people. So Lifeline also have a text service, which is 0477 13 11 14 as well. So find now the event coming up. So you got the event on the 10th of September. The event details are in the blurb above. So there's a link to your event, which is Are You OK for breakfast? And the link is in the blurb above. So please click on there and find out more. Find out, even if you can't attend the event, find out more information about the event. Get in contact with Sarah if you've got questions. Comment in the event. Share it, even if you can't attend yourself. Share it, because you don't know who you know that might not be speaking up and needs help.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And, you know, something I started thinking more and more lately is about, you know, doing some more blogs on things on that, because a lot of people have sort of said to me recently, oh, I would never have picked that. And one of my closest friends, she only came out and said to me recently her husband's been diagnosed with bipolar. And I went, oh, okay. And she goes, oh, you probably don't know much about that. And I said, actually, I do. And she says, oh, you know, what do you know? And I said, well, I have it. And she just went, get out. Like, I wouldn't have picked that. And I said, that's okay. I said, it's not, you know, it's not something that it's a label that I wear on my, you know, on my chest that, hey, I have bipolar and this is me, because that doesn't define who I am. That's just a small portion of what, you know, what happens to me at times. But I think I've learned enough, and I think, Ros, you sort of mentioned that it's a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It's you know, it's going back to my meditation. I constantly listen to motivational things all the time. I spend a lot of time in my car driving, and it is like my little learning box, because I just listen to this stuff constantly. Housework, anything, you know, writing articles, I'm listening constantly to ways to improve my life. And it's just, you know, being with like-minded people like all of you, that's what keeps me healthy. You know, going to events, you know, I love putting them on, and I think I love giving platforms to speakers. I love seeing people in the audience get some aha moments. And I think, because that was me once upon a time, that was sitting there going, I just need something. I'm searching for something. How can I get some help? So I think that's where pure potential events really started from, is because that buzz that I got of seeing other people, and I thought, I want to create it myself. I want to create this buzz.
Well, I look forward to seeing and hearing more about the event. Like we said, it is above. Now, we have run out of time. Thank you so much for sharing your story. Like, I think, I know I connected with your personal story. I'm sure our viewers did as well. I know it's not easy to get vulnerable and share such a personal story, but at the same time, it's so important, because it does make people connect and think, you know what, I feel a bit like that sometimes too.
So thank you so much, Sarah. I do look forward to seeing you on Saturday. We'll be catching up at at Sue Shaw's event there for the
Yes.
Enlightened Tribe. So
Yeah.
and again, that's all about mixing with people, like-minded people, and raising our vibrations and our energy to. I've sort of missed part of the conversation, but I'll be definitely hooking into the replay. Thank you for everybody who's joined us live and sharing it out and inviting people, letting people know about this really, really important topic, because it is, we don't need to suffer in silence, do we?
Exactly.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of people can relate, Jenny says. So we are out of time. We do need to go. Don't go anywhere, Sarah. We'll speak to you in a moment. And thank you for joining us. We really appreciate
Thank you,
giving
Sarah.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Thank you so much. And thank you, everyone.
Oops, I dropped her out while she was mid-sentence. Sorry about that, Sarah.
That's like talking over me, you Greek wife, you.
You feel that she hasn't thanked you. Sarah was just thanking everybody as I had already clicked the button. There was a bit of a delay, so she didn't know that I dropped her out already. Thank you for joining us. Share the message. You know, it is important that people know where they can get help. So like we said, contact the Are You OK page. There's an Are You OK Day page. The event to Sarah and Pure Potential Events, Are You OK? It's Are You OK for breakfast. The link is in the blurb above, and if you can't find it, if you're not tech savvy, comment below, send Sarah a message. She's been tagged above as well. We will get the information to you. And if you do need help, there are lots of services, you know, counsellors, spiritual healers, whatever it is that's right for you. And don't forget the number for Lifeline as well is 13 11 14, or if you prefer text, their text service is 0477 13 11 14. Joining us, and until next week, have a wonderful week, and we'll see you.
Bye. See you Thursday morning at 9:30 a.m. Australian Central Standard Time for the show with no name.
Bye for now.
Bye.